What's up, my friends? Welcome to the studio that is mine, also known as my studio. I'm gonna move these over here, and we're gonna go over. I don't even. Why do I even go to this view? That's the question, and I don't have the answer. But I'm gonna go over to the FL studio. Look at that, just like that. All right, what do we got? Sorry I missed last week, but I had a car show, and the car season's almost done, so I'm kind of looking forward to that, to be honest. Let's have a listen to Swire, Celeste. Okay, what show is this from? This sounds like Saturday morning cartoons to me. We're gonna keep going.
Your real name! How dare you accuse me of sharing a ludicrous name like Master Peter with that troll! I should follow you! Fine, let's say I'm wrong! All you gotta do is tell us who you are! Lastly, would I expect you to give me your full undivided attention? My real name is Celestia Ludenberg! Base go! Your real name! Amogus. Shut up!
Oh shit. I feel like I'm going to have a really hard time providing thoughts on this track. It's wild. It's wildly loud, and I don't understand this. Is this a serious, like, genre? I know it's kind of hardcore, but it's like, I feel like it's not really hardcore. I feel like it's like hardcore times 10 once I gotta plug my phone in. Absolutely. I feel like my ears will never be the same. You know, I knew it was going to be loud because I saw the waveform, but I was not expecting that. Like, here's a question for anybody who makes hardcore seriously. The kick drum is not there. Like, the kick drum is like almost half, like it's on the upbeat. So I don't really I don't really know what to say. if this is the style of music, and I'm not familiar with this style of music, but like the kick drum just kind of, that's the biggest thing that bothers me, is that there's no punch on the kick drum. I know it's hard style, but I feel like hard style should still have some sort of punchy kick, right? Like, what would it sound like with just like this in there? Like, that already kind of sounds better. I'm assuming this is something stupid like fucking 140 or something, right? Let's try 140. Is it? No. What tempo is this? Let's do it this way. I think this is the kick. No way. 160. Holy shit. Okay. So 160, but like what happens if it has like just the punch of this kick to fill in that little spot? What's it sound like? I feel like this is going to be better. Maybe not quite as short. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, like, why not? Is that like a hardcore faux pas? Like, you're not allowed to put a kick drum or something?
Wow.
Holy fuck. Let me just make sure I don't have any sort of crazy... No, okay. We're good. I mean, to me, I don't know how to give you ideas or thoughts on this track besides saying that I think having a kick drum would be good. More than just like that sound. I don't know. I think it sounds better with the kick drum. Maybe not this kick drum. Like, it almost just sounds like it's missing a kick drum. And again, I might be sounding like a total friggin' idiot because I don't know this genre of music, but kind of objectively, shouldn't it have a punchy kick drum on the downbeat?
I have AIDS.
I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed this experience. I can't say that I'm a big fan of this style of music. I don't regret listening to it. I think the kick drum could be more present on the downbeat, and I think that's maybe all I have to say about it. And maybe hardcore is supposed to not have a kick drum, but if I were making hardcore, I'd make it have a kick drum. So take it or leave it. Those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. That's what I said. I said it. It didn't make sense, but that's fine. Okay, let's move on. We got Tact Crystal. By the way, I did enjoy that track. It made me laugh and it made me smile and it made my face hurt from being so flabbergasted. So I hope that I wasn't too harsh on you, but I do think that a kick drum would be nice. Okay, let's listen to this one. Why would you steal that part from me? That part was sick. I love that switch up. Oh, that part's dope. This is a cool, like, yo, check out these cool shots of this cool car, you know? This is a very good. You know, like cool angles, like Hoonigan, you know, this versus that, introduction of a car. It's super good. I don't really necessarily have any negative thoughts or like criticism. I think it's a cool beat. I really like where you're taking it with it. Like, that's a sick switch up. And you could do that for a section and then bring it back to this style beat. But like switch something up, because I feel like the dun 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 thing would get a little bit taxing after a while, right? So switching that up or adding something that plays off of it to give it kind of a new context or something would be cool. But yeah, I definitely keep going on this one because it's very. I would cut a car video together with this music for sure. And I don't know if that's what you're going for. Maybe you hate cars and you're offended, but I think it sounds dope. And that's pretty much it. Okay, moving on. We got Tesseract's ID featuring Gravity.
Tesseract's Gravity. Skinning MC that thinks they're bad, I'm on the indirect. It's not a smart move, I swear to God, they lack the intellect. And daily need a break, I take a breath before I intersect. These bloody interbreeding brothers always breathing down my neck. Hyping on the internet, finally bumping into them. The life the league can either be fighting me or not interject. And in respect, I'll injure them. Fuck it, I'm an injured then. Stick a big blade into them, pulled out the lake by fishermen. Fucking umpty got me umpty, now I need a break. The meditation never works when I'm angry or in a state. There's fillet steak on my dinner plate, I'm bulking up and feeling rage. I'll stomp the ground, the biggest quake, I'm walking in, they feel it shake. Type of guy to hit a mate, cause I don't give a Scooby. Watch me kick ass as I kick off when I bit off and they said they knew me. Setting off on different slates, debating life from different rates. My takeaways are villain traits, I change the game on given days. Microdosing, now I'm psychedelic surfing, trying to heal the trauma causing pain, but nothing's ever working. I'm eating mushies like Mario, resetting all my circuits. Discovering my purpose, I'm a shaman in the circus. Harmless on the surface, but a raging storm beneath. I stopped believing false beliefs and now the trees they talk to me. Tried to walk with ease, but these evil thoughts still torture me. I'm socially still awkwardly moving mental, so closely. Unfortunately, seems I may be stuck in rainy weather. Punish clever, under getting told them I don't function ever. Got a punch a running sever, something funny till I enter. Never talking weapons, get them clocking, fuck it, I'm just better. Rinsing tracks with Tesseracts and being loco Loki. My career's been in and out, it's like the okey cokey. If my number gets given out, I beg that they don't phone me. I'm enjoying peace and quiet, I'm liking being lonely. I'm skinning MC that thinks they're bad, I'm on the indirect. It's not a smart move, I swear to God, they lack the intellect. And daily need a break, I take a breath before I intersect. These bloody interbreeding brothers always breathing down my neck. Hyping on the internet, finally bumping into them. The life the league can either be fighting me or not interject. And in respect, I'll injure them. Stick a big blade into them. Fuck it, I'm an ninja then. Yeah.
love how that was like some fucking Motown. Wow, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. My thoughts are that when the rapping is happening, it's hard to understand what he's saying a lot of the time because the beat is so strong and good and exciting and busy. So like at the start,
on the internet, finally bumping into them. The life the league can either be fighting me or not interject. And in respect, I'll injure them. Fuck it, I'm an injured then. Stick a big blade into them, pulled out the lake by fishermen. Fucking umpty got me umpteen, now I need a break. The meditation never works.
See, I don't know. The rap is so good and the track is so good, but they're both so good and so strong and so attention demanding that it's kind of hard for me to understand the lyrics during some parts. I mean, of course, some of the words stick out and it sounds great and everything, and the flow sounds great and his delivery sounds great, but I'm struggling to hear like the lyrics through the beat. I think checking out the track Legendary by Deadmau5, let's see if this screws stuff up. Deadmau 5 Legendary. Let's see if this... Oh, that's 9 Inch Nails.
I guess they don't wear tattoo buddy, I don't need no shit. Probably need Jesus, but I don't go church. I'm on this hotel floor trying to soul set. Pop a couple more, they won't hit. My mind on my body, which one will go first?
So I think the beat is a bit more stripped back in that track. And I'm not saying that those tracks are interchangeable, but it's just the first one that came to mind.
On the internet, finally bumping into them. The life the league can either be fighting me or not.
I think it might just be like when the rapping parts are happening, stopping some of those sounds, like the snare basically takes up 100% of the available real estate in the mix when it hits, right? Everything else is like, it's just snare. And then there's some like bass hits and stuff like that that are really pokey. So I think if you could just control the dynamics of some of those elements and maybe strip it back too far and then add to taste. Because it's kind of the beat sounds dope, but it's getting in the way of the vocals.
The meditation never works when I'm angry or in a state. There's fillet steak on my dinner plate. I'm bulking up and feeling rage. I'll stomp the ground, the biggest quake. I'm walking in, they feel it shake. Track a guy to hit a mate, cause I don't give a Scooby. Watch me kick ass as I kick off.
Yeah, I don't know. If I were you, I would leave like the crazy flexing beat stuff maybe for the drop, you know, and let the parts, the verses or whatever with the rapping, let that be the verses with the rapping, you know, just strip it back a bit. And that might be deleting and muting some stuff or reducing the volume of certain things or whatever. But I just find that whenever he's rapping and you've got like the crazy beat going, it's hard for me to catch all the lines.
Unfortunately, seems I may be stuck in rainy weather. Punish clever.
This part, when it got to that part, it was great. Like I was like, oh yes, I can actually like clearly hear everything he's saying, and it was still getting me ready for the fucking.
It's not a smart move. I swear to it, I'm a ninja then.
So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of ways to go about this, but that would be my only concern with this track is that the beat is just so in my face that the vocals kind of get left behind. Besides that, it's dope, and I would blast it in my Honda Civic with a subwoofer if I had such a thing. All right, cool. Thanks for sending. Let's move on to Velcode, 170 beat per minute drum and bass remix of Duke Gray. My own devices is mix okay? I think that's a question. Let's have a listen.
Was left to my own devices, and now I'm in deep. I'm dreaming of paradises, but I'm not asleep. I'm dreaming of paradises, but I'm not asleep.
Okay, so everything sounded good. When I got to the drum and bass drop, I felt like the snare sounds a little neutered in the top end, or like it's lacking like a snap or a I don't. It just kind of sounds like it's got a lot of transient and punch, but it doesn't have like a psh, like a top end to it. So it kind of sounds a bit dull or something. Also, the main so during those parts with the main bass, it's very mono. And I'm not saying that you should just like spread that main bass out super wide, but it does sound very congested in the center, center of the stereo field. Like if we look at the imager. In fact, it kind of seems like all of your bass sounds belong to us. Just joking. It sounds like all of your bass sounds are very mono. So I would somehow find a way to explore the stereo field a little bit more during those moments in the drops, because the rest of the track, like leading up to it, was very lush and wide and stereo fieldy. If we go back here. So if you watch the stereo, if we compare to like right here. So you can see it's not like the end of the world. It's not super, super duper bad, but that was something that I noticed. The two things that I noticed is that congested in the center, not enough stereo width during the drop, and the snare drum just has it has all the body of the snare, but it doesn't have that crispy top end that kind of cuts through the mix. It kind of just feels like it's in the soup a little bit too much, if that makes sense. But besides that, I think the track sounds fucking dope. It sounds very good, and obviously you're not finished it, so keep going. Keep that in mind, and good luck. All right. Verbatim, let's see what kind of cyberpunk stuff we got this week. Collab, okay. Doesn't say who the collab is with. That's very suspicious. Let's go. So right off the bat, it's very bass heavy, and that snare drum, I don't really I get it, and it kind of works, but it also it's mono. Like it might be 100% mono actually. Let's listen to it again. Like that to me sounds 100% mono, but it sounds very reverbed out. So that kind of feels weird in the mix, because the reverb would suggest that it should be spread out into the stereo field, but it's not. So that felt kind of weird to me. And it also feels a little bit back in the mix. And I didn't predict the genre based on the waveform. I predicted the genre based on the artist that sent it in. So yeah, I don't think making the snare mono is the move, to be honest. I think bringing it up in the mix and giving it a bit more oomph, because you could almost tell when you hit the snare, the track almost loses energy, which is kind of the opposite of what should happen. Also, your kick drums are inconsistently loud. Maybe you have samples on top of each other. Like this one. And no, the snare shouldn't necessarily be mono. Like it would be different if it was like a real crunchy tight snare or something, but it doesn't need to be mono. It should be centered, and it should have most of its energy in the center of the stereo field. But it shouldn't be monoed like that, especially when it has that long reverb tail, because that sounds unnatural. Us as humans, when we hear something with a big long reverb tail, that means we're in like a big cavernous space. So we expect it to be bouncing around us in 3 dimensions. And this is just like down the center. So check the kick drums for inconsistencies. And it sounds like maybe there's a few things that have been monoed, but so far it's mostly the snare. And then I feel like you have done some naughty stereoizing of things, specifically the bass sounds or something. I kind of feel like I'm like inside of the Twilight Zone when I'm listening to it. Maybe it's even on the master bus. Did you do some like fancy, stereoizing? Because there's I think that's the biggest problem I have with this, is that there's just some weird stuff happening in the stereo field. There's certain things that are too mono, and then there's certain things that sounded like they were too mono, and you band-aided them with some sort of stereoizer plug-in or chorus effect or something like that, right? So that's the biggest thing. Like, do you hear how much stuff disappears when I force it to mono? Like that main like dirty bass thing basically disappears 100%. Yeah, you did some fucking dirty shit. I know you did. You can't lie to me. You did some dirty stereoizing things, and that never works out. You got to do it. You got to do it naturally. You can't force that stereo shit. Orange. Like, yeah, it's a cool cyberpunk start to a track. I would address those notes that I said, and then I would try to come up with some sort of hook or melody, so it's not just, like 4 to the floor with a cool bass line. That's basically where it's at right now. Is it's a cool 4 to the floor beat with a cool 4 to the floor bass line cyberpunk thing. So now you gotta come up with some sort of hook or idea or theme or something, right? But I would fix the stereo issues that I have mentioned, and I think that might get you a lot closer to the way it should sound, and then you have to write the song, basically. Okay, cool. I think that's all I got for that one. Thank you for sending. Let's move on to 720 Flip Flows. Wow. This is sick. Honestly, this is a good start to something. I think all I have to say about this is fucking finish it, make it into a full-on song, because it's dope and it goes hard. And to answer your question verbatim, I'm not saying that stereoizer plugins aren't useful in certain ways, but if you have to do a lot to get the stereo field to where you want it, you're probably better off doing it in the sound designing phase as opposed to taking something that's mono and just kind of messing with the phase to get it sounding more stereo, right? So that's what I would suggest. I'd suggest Sorry, I'm all messed up because now I'm looking at a different song. But yeah, when it comes to stereoizing stuff, try to I don't know, do it in the sound design with the synth, with unison, with stuff like that. Maybe something should be mono, and you double it with a different synth and make that all super wide with unison, and you filter it to just give certain. There's too many ways for me to kind of sit here and tell you how to do it. But if you are like, this is too mono, and you put on a stereoizing plugin and now it's stereo, that usually doesn't really cut it. It usually just makes it feel weird when you listen to it, especially on headphones. Okay, back to this track. Like, seriously, this is really cool. And yeah, finishing music scares me too, hence why I haven't had a release in a few months. But yeah, I don't know, man. Finish it. Production wise, it sounds dope. It gets maybe the DJ effect, the phaser thing might be a little overused. Like it'd be kind of cool if you used it for like one bar and then took it away. But besides that, I don't really have any feedback besides like, just pick a song. Here's a hack for you because I feel like you are really good at coming up with cool beats and shit, but you're like, how do I make this a song? Pick a song that you like that's in the same ballpark and put it in FL or whatever you write in, and then copy the structure just to give you a starting point. Don't copy the song, but like, okay, he has 16 bars of beat, and then the rapping comes in, then it does this little build up thing for 16 bars, then 32 bars of like drop/beat thing, then a breakdown. Just straight up copy somebody's arrangement, because the arrangement isn't really. Yes, there are creative arrangements, but like there's a lot of arrangements that are exactly the same. It's kind of like when somebody designs a new car, they're not going to add a fifth wheel somewhere. It's like cars have 4 wheels. So if you're having a trouble with creating a structure, just grab somebody else's structure and fucking use it as a template. Then delete their song, and now you have a template. Maybe you change it from there. Maybe you're like, oh, this build-up should be longer, or maybe I don't like the intro, whatever. At least that gives you a starting point so that you can focus on the creative parts of the track and not just like, oh my God, how do I make it into a song instead of a beat? And don't worry about like whatever. Maybe the first 16 bars is just a kick and a snare. Who cares? Just put it there as a placeholder. Maybe the buildup is just a snare roll. Put it there for a placeholder, and work off of that. And then you have, instead of just staring at the same 4 bars, you have the full song structure in front of you, and you can kind of pick away at the different parts. That's my suggestion on this one. All right. It's dope. It's very cool. I don't know what the guy is saying, but it doesn't really bother me that much that I can't, because it just kind of sounds like it's part of the beat. And yeah, that's all I have. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. New Low Street Heat added high-end edition. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Here's a new low. Ladies and gentlemen, we've officially reached a new low.
Wait, is that the same guitar thing from... Oh, I'm not saying it's the same. It just reminds me of a Muzz track with Cell Dweller. What's that one called? Anyway, I like it so far, except the arrangement. I felt like this was a big build up to a big build up to a drop, and it was stressing my patience, I guess you could say. I wasn't angry, but I was like, I was ready to be finished with the build-ups. Now, I do find that the guitars in this are very scooped. Like, I know it's like heavy metal, it should be scooped, but I'm also kind of only hearing sub and like those frequencies, right? There's not a lot of tone to the guitar. So that could be an EQ change. It could be a guitar tone change. It could be a layer added to it to fill in that frequency. But right now, the whole track kind of like lots of sub, and then there's like no mids, and then there's like harsh, you know, like 3K and up. So, and you can't really see that, but anyway, that is the only issue I'm hearing right now with this drop section, is that there's a lot of sub, a lot of high mids and high end, but there's not a lot of tonality to tell us specifically which notes are being played. So I like all the stuff that's in here. All the elements are strong in terms of the dun 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 dun. Like, that's a cool riff, right? But I do feel like you might be stretching the value of the riff. Like, you're kind of leaning on that one riff for too long. And to me, there needs to be a counter melody or something come in, because I'm like, all right, I'm ready to rock out to this dun 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 dun. But like, am I ready to rock out to it for 2 minutes straight without something giving it new context, maybe a sustained kind of nee, 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 or, you know, some sort of melody or something? I think that's what I'm missing. Is it's getting a little repetitive, I think. Wow, thank you so much. Interesting Amel 7. I will seriously consider your offer 100%. Yes, it's the song called New Age. Yeah. See, like, yeah, there's some new stuff in here, right? Which is cool. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. But like, back here, it relied a little bit too much on the dun 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 dun. Aiden, I know it was a scam. I was being sarcastic. Yes. Okay. And I basically, I don't even think I need to listen to the rest of it to say that you're leaning too much on dun 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 dun. You need to come up with something else that is like the response to that riff, because that riff is cool, but it ain't 5.5, almost 6 minutes cool. You know, we got to have something to balance it out. Dun 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 dun. Maybe it's da da na 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 na, you know, like something that switches it up and gives us kind of a break, so that when you hit us with the da 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 thing, all of a sudden we're like, yes, I was missing that. Right now, I wasn't missing it. I was missing not having it, you know. And the snare needs to be a little bit more present. But that's basically what I got. Very cool, very heavy. I would definitely kick a bunny to this music. All right, Coder B5, this is just a trap beat, okay? Put an acapella on it, and then it's a banger. That sounds like something you should do. You don't pay me enough to do your work, you know? All right, let's have a listen. yeah, man, this is sick. Don't just get an acapella. Get somebody, find somebody in your area and get together with them and discuss emotional ideas. Let them know how you're doing, you know? Touch base, check in, ask them how they're doing, ask them what they're struggling with, and then use all of those things to write a song to go on top of this, because this is a very emotional sounding beat, and I dig it. I think, like, production-wise, it sounds great. It needs vocals, obviously. It's like, I wouldn't even really do a whole lot of work to the, I love that, Kadia. Hot singers in your area. Oh, fuck. That's funny. Yeah. That's all I got to say. Find somebody, get vulnerable with them, tell them your deepest fears and traumatic incidences, and then write a song. And then put it on top of this emotion. Write an emotional song, put it on top of this emotional beat, and then make people feel emotions. You know, I think that's the goal, right? I don't have any feedback for the beat. It sounds great. Get a fucking singer. That's it. That's all. Okay. Okay, Grim. Heavy dubstep first attempt. All right. Get vulnerable with random singers in your area. Random hot singers in your area. All right. I can't really read your name because my screen resolution isn't good enough. Hold on. Fuck. Oh shit. Turwico official. I listen to anything at all. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, drop wasn't long enough. We need a B part to the drop because I was just starting to rock out, and I can't believe Verbatim just did the hard work of typing in the link. Anyway, so drop's not long enough. I felt like I was just getting going. Obviously, you can't just copy and paste. We need some sort of variation or like a B drop. Leading up to it. This first part, there's a little something going on between the sub bass and the wow wow bass. There's kind of like a, I don't know, there's something, maybe you switch notes different times on the two patterns or something. It's they don't sound glued together. There's something that sounds dissonant or broken between the sub bass and the bass, the bass. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, also, so that whatever. There's some. I feel like there's more than just the sub bass contributing to the sub area of the bass. So like I would mute your sub bass and listen to the whole track. Mute your sub bass and your kick and listen to the whole track, and then figure out what exactly is contributing. It almost sounds like a thump from the like the bass. I think there's like some low end leaking down into the sub, and it's kind of making the sub a little bit messy. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, okay. So during the fake out, the ba ba bum bum ba ba bum bum thing, it just there's some dissonance or is there like a da 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 da? Is there like a layer that's going da 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 da? Almost like a da 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 da. It almost sounds like brass or something. But right here, listen. Also, I hear an existentia bass in there. Yeah, okay. I think there's like a brass thing that goes da 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 or something. There's like almost like a rocky kind of da 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 or something. And it's just kind of in there, but it's not like in there. So it's just in there to like cause dissonance. I'm having a really hard time articulating what I'm trying to say here. But there's da da da. Yeah, like maybe just don't have the wow 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 the bass. Maybe just have the da 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 whatever that melodic thing is that I'm kind of half hearing. It's almost like a half measure. Like you're not committed to the da 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 da, and it would be way better if you committed to the da 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 thing. That's. And then what I would say is mute all of your drums and listen to just your basses with your sub bass, because I feel like the sub bass is maybe too loud, or the other basses aren't loud enough or something. There are some basses that are fucking loud enough, okay? Like the ja thing. But like here in this section, the sub bass feels quite disconnected from the rest of the bass. It sounds like you have basses and then you have sub bass, when it should sound like you just have an abnormally thick bass. Like the sub bass should feel like part of the other basses, and to me it sounds like not that. Okay, that's what I think. Let's keep going. Thank you for sending. Very heavy, very cool. Cranked at Bandle's Ground Shake Contest Adexi remix. Okay, so this is heavy. It makes me want to punch the wall, and that's good. But the dissonance, I'm not really hearing like a da 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 da. It's kind of like the metallic bass thing almost sounds like it's playing a semitone up or something. Like it's just like it's like rage. It's just pure rage, and I need a bit more tonality so that I want to rage. Don't get me wrong. I want to be angry and I want to hate the world, but I also want to know what note is being played. And I feel like let's try just high passing the whole track and getting rid of the sub bass, and I'm gonna do it with a different thing. And let's just see if we can tell what the. Here we go. See if we can tell what the note is. I have no doubts that you know what note it is. but I don't necessarily, like, this is what I'm saying. If the sub bass is gone, you hear what I'm saying? Like, it's heavy. It's definitely heavy enough, but I need a bit more tonality because a lot of the sounds in there are very mid-heavy, high-end, crispy, crunchy. You know, we don't have these like defined harmonics down in the low mids and stuff to tell us, hey, this is the note that is currently being played, because that dee thing, it's very metallic and almost like a bell. And the reason why bells sound like bells is because they have dissonant harmonics in them. So anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, I don't know if there's a specific way to fix this that I would recommend, but I do know, like, even if you look at the spectrum analyzer above me, see how aggressively loud all the frequencies are? Looks, if I played white noise, it would look kind of similar to that. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, I don't know how. I'd have to like tear the track apart into stems and be like, oh, okay, let's, or maybe it's adding a layer. Maybe add a layer that's more harmonic and chilling out some of the crazy like white noise wall of sound stuff that's happening. But that, for me, that's basically the biggest problem with this track right now, is that I just can't necessarily clearly hear what note is being played. It just sounds like a lot of anger. And that's cool. Don't get me wrong. All right, right on. We're going to move on. That's what I think. Thanks for sending. We got Cloudy Parallels times Robbie Rosin. Feel Nothing. Sorry, Feel Nothing.
You had me believing in what we could be, Now it's just all fantasy. Yeah. You gave me reason to trust. Now trust is lost, and I lay bleeding. How do you expect me to be okay when you ripped my heart right out of this place? I've been a mess, just want to escape. Wish I could go numb, at least for a day. If I could feel nothing, I would feel nothing. 'Cause I've never felt this kind of pain before. Could break every bone, still this would hurt more.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is, yeah, he's a great singer. I think that the vocals have been stereoized, and maybe not stereoized, maybe they're doubles and triples and stuff like that, but I need to put my camera up higher. I feel like I'm cramming myself. Anyway, I feel like the vocals sound like they're really weighted towards the sides and not necessarily in the middle where I would expect it. I'd rather have a nice, solid, clean, and I don't mean clean like no effects, but just like nice centered vocal with supporting side channels, as opposed to right now it sounds like all on the sides and there's maybe some in the middle, if you listen carefully to the stereo field.
So find me a pill to cure this misery. You'll never know just
Yeah, they're kind of hyped. Like they kind of sound like super hyped in the mix the entire time. Like right when he comes in with the vocals, it sounds like I'm almost listening to a drop. Like they're like very wow.
Ripped my heart right out of reason to trust. Now trust is love.
See, like that right there is your centered vocal, right? But it's got some stereoizing stuff happening for sure.
Reason to trust.
Like, listen to this. I'll switch between mono and not mono.
Reason to trust. Now trust is lost, and I lay bleeding.
And it's cool to have some stereo image for sure. But I am of the belief that the vocal should be in the center and then have the stereo stuff as an added kind of with added dimension, you know, but the main vocal is in the middle and it's not pushed to the sides or stereoized in any way, unless you're doing it for some sort of creative way. Anyway, let's keep going.
Still picture you leaving. It runs through my mind, runs through.
I think the vocals are a good level, to be honest. I agree with Raham. There's too much stuff going on in the drop. Like you got this like like this like choppy vocal thing, and I would maybe save that for like the B section of the drop or something, because it's almost like I don't know. It kind of sounds a bit too wall of sound to me.
If I could feel nothing, I would feel nothing. 'Cause I've never felt this kind of pain before. Could break every bone, still this would hurt more. If I could feel nothing, I would feel nothing. So find me a pill to cure this misery. You never know just how much I need to feel nothing.
So like your main synths, like the pads or the synths or the saws, they live in that same wide hyped, sorry, the same wide hyped high mids kind of frequency as the vocal. So when you're doing them both at the same time, there's just a lot of like side high end energy that's not really there's no room for the vocal when you're doing that. I don't know how to. Well, I think first of all I would try de-stereo whatever you've done to the main vocal, like the main vocal track, to push it to the sides. Just see what it sounds like if you take that off and it's in the middle, and then you let like the harmonies and stuff fill out the sides. And then when it gets to the drop, I don't know, maybe mute your super saw and see what else you can do, because there's a lot of stuff up in that high frequency range, and it's all fighting each other the whole time. I don't know, maybe it is just getting rid of the vocal choppy thing might help, because it would unbusy the drop a bit. I'm not sure. I'm having a hard time with giving you direction on this specific track, unfortunately. But I do know that the vocals, like putting them in the center, is going to help a lot. Okay, Sorry, couldn't be more helpful. We're going to move on. Actually, this is the last track of the day. Cool. Record time. All right, we got Aiden Dodge. How you diss bad friendship. VIP, the song revolves around ripping on my 11-year-old self. Also, I ran out. You ran out of space in the song title.
Previously on Aiden Dodge's Adventures.
Crunches come and go.
Yeah, sorry, no, we're not doing this.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm you from the future.
No way.
Now, give me that instrument. This ain't how you diss, now you're doing it wrong. And if you want to learn how, just listen to the song. I'll give you tips and pointers on how to become a pro. Now let's motherfucking go! Okay, the first thing that you're gonna...
Oh my god, I gotta hear that again.
Pro. Now let's motherfucking go! Okay.
I love that. Let's motherfucking go. Okay, the delay on your voice is very like muffled, so it kind of gives like I don't think the vocals are necessarily muffled.
This ain't how you diss, now you're doing it wrong. And
maybe it is. Maybe the vocals themselves, but also like the slapback delay effect is very muffly.
this ain't how you diss, now you're doing it wrong. And if you want to learn how, just listen.
So I think if I were you and I have my vocals, the first thing I would do, like the first thing from the vocal in the processing chain would be cut probably.
This ain't how you diss, now you're doing it wrong. And if you want to learn how, just listen to the song. I'll give you tips and pointers on how to become a pro.
Something along the lines of this kind of shape. I don't know, but the delay effect you have on it is not doing the bottom end any favors.
Go! Okay, the first thing that you're gonna want to do is make sure the victim of your diss is looking at you. To make the diss seem absolute and utter, you gotta be up front and don't let yourself stutter. Hit or miss, you don't wanna let it miss you. You gotta be upfront about your fucking diss, yeah. And you can add some humor as a little sweetener. And you can cuss up them to give a little heat in there. And if you need to, you can make up your own.
So the bottom end, the like sub thing is kind of overwhelming in during some moments. It's kind of it cuts through really.
And if you need to, you can make
right there.
You can make up your own words. You can do anything to make sure that your diss hurts. You keep it going till you make it to the top. You fill it up, then you hit him with the bass drop.
Okay, the kick drum. There are some issues in this section. The kick drum. Okay, I'm going to start with the kick drum. The kick drum is a little... It's not a good kick drum. Or at least the processing that has happened to it. There's no like bottom end. It's just kind of like the It's like the of the kick drum. Then the sub bass, sounds like it's maybe playing the wrong note. There's some weird dissonance in the bass. So I would take all of your bass or all of your instruments that are going da na 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 na, and make sure they're all doing the same things at the same time. Because to me, it sounds like there's something in there that that's not playing the same note as something else. Like it's like right there. It doesn't sound like it's playing the right note. I don't know. It's hard to say. The mono thing is a little mono too. Like
Shut the fuck up.
I'm not really sure exactly, but to me, there's something in there that are playing two different notes in the bottom end, and it's doing this sort of thing. And then
Shut the fuck up.
It kind of sounds like all of your instruments are in the center, and then like the beat and maybe some like reverbed out stuff is on the side. So I would address that as well. I think that, you know, the higher one could be in the middle with a little bit of like stereo width. The sub bass should be in the middle too, but like there's like this aggressive bass sound that's going, and I think maybe that could go to the sides because it's like everything's piled up in the middle. Oh my god! Wait, did you play this? So, like right here, for example, if we just listen to only the sub area, and if you're not wearing headphones or have good speakers, then you might not hear anything, but here how there's like there's like that when it goes doom do ding doom do ding doom, but there's basses. You got to take some inventory of your bass elements and make sure that they're all playing the same song, more or less. Like right here. Fuck off. Because like the bottom end in this situation, this bottom end is just a bunch of rumbles. Like I can't really tell what's happening down there. Yeah, it's just kind of blah, 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 blah. So I would say So I would say go and just take all of your MIDI and everything that's playing notes and look at them all and make sure they are 100% playing the right notes at all times and making sense. If you have one bass that's sticking at the root note and the other one's kind of going up and down, that's not really going to work, right? And then the kick drum. So yeah, you said it was a kick drum from Existentia. Okay, but whatever's happened, like look at this. This is the kick, right? Look at the size of this kick versus. So the kick drum should be the same size as this, you know, like this. If we do this, this should kind of maybe look like something like that, you know, like you've got this little kick and then the song comes back to full force. So a few things, yeah, Nick, it's my fault. The kick is just bad. Okay, well, use a different kick then. How about that? Yeah, those are just a bunch of off the top of my head thoughts on the track. But I would, the number one thing I would do is go and make sure that all of your notes are playing the same notes at the same time. And Baglama, probably have to need. I do agree that instrument is kind of pokey on the ears as well. Yeah, I hope that helps. That's pretty much all I got. Okay, and I guess that's it for this week, which is good because my back teeth are floating, which I guess is not a common thing that people say, but I have to pee. That's what that means. Nick, I'm curious. Do you think I made some progress in the production skill so far? Yeah, I do. I like hearing the same people send stuff in because then I get to see as they progress, and that's exciting. And yes, I don't think that anybody really spends hours doing something and gets worse, you know? I think that every minute that you spend trying to figure out problems in your production and trying to learn new skills, it might not be as beneficial as you would like it to be, but it's never going to not be beneficial. You're always going to get a little bit better every minute you spend doing this stuff. So don't ever feel bad if you're like, I'm not going anywhere. Well, you might not be going as fast as you would like to be, but you are still going somewhere. All right. And with that, somehow wise sounding shit that I just said, I love you. I hope you have a good weekend, and bye. I'm going to mute the mic too.